This time we have guests, unlike last week. This week we're going to have Kratos and LAK. I think LAK is a little busy at the moment. But, Doves, how are you doing today?
Pretty good.
Kratos, how are you doing today?
Pretty alright, yeah.
Alright.
He just got slapped up a bit, but he's healing.
Let's not talk about it.
I mean, it's a talk show.
Yeah, we're here to talk about stuff. So
I thought we were just gonna be silent the whole time.
Maybe.
I'm back.
Welcome, LAK. Welcome. How are you doing today?
Good.
Excellent. All right, so we'll start with the general first question. You guys can take turns. Whoever wants to go first. How did you get your start? Like, what made you start playing Battlefront, which led to Battlefront Competitive, and what drew you to the game itself, whether it was PS2 or PC? Kratos, I guess you can go first because he's muted again.
I don't even know, bro. I just played it online, and then when I first learned about clans, I thought they were just like you played in pubs, and whoever got the better stats won the clan match or whatever.
Oh wow!
But eventually, I stumbled across the SOR server. This site came up in the announcement, so I went to the site and tried to join. And I tried to join for Jedi and Conquest, but they didn't allow that, so I ended up getting banned because I was a noob. And then I went to LOE.
You got banned?
I remember LOE.
Yeah. Well, yeah, if you were too much of a noob, you got banned from some sites.
That was common back in the
right
day.
away.
It was a rough start, so I went to their very newbie rival clan.
Yeah.
And, I think Caamen was in LOE, right?
Yeah, I was Master Splinter back in the day.
Yeah. So, yeah, we're brothers in arms. We both started in LOE. LAK was in LOE. Why are you in LOE, LAK?
Yeah, right after I had a great fall. I was at SCJ. It's the most glorious of Jedi clans. And then I left that. And straight after SCJ, I joined LOE, which is the newbiest of Jedi clans.
And then LAK ended up taking me away from LOE. So honestly, maybe the only reason I got super into competitive was to, one, probably beat SOR eventually.
Mm-hmm.
And then two, just because LAK brought me along with him, yeah. So yeah, probably mainly because of those two things. To beat SOR, just because they banned me from their site. And then Destroyer was an SOR, so I just hated Destroyer because he's an SOR and they banned me or whatever. But yeah, so
It's the story of revenge, Kratos' story.
So in order to turn you into champion player, I have to ban you from BCL.
Yeah.
I'm still a noob, but not that much of a noob anymore.
What was your start like, LAK, if you were in SDJ? Were you just hyper competitive as a person already, or?
Yeah, well, I started. Well, it was the first online game I ever played, actually, on PS2.
Okay.
And I hopped on, and I played RuneScape back in the day, and I was really into the clan scene there. So I kind of knew how clans worked, and clan wars and all that. So I was really interested to join a clan right away.
Okay.
And I joined a 4-man server, not knowing what was happening. And this guy just happened to be friends with two really good Jedi players, and they joined the server, Superman and Xerix. And those are big names in the old school Jedi community.
Mm-hmm.
And they were just ended up talking to me, and they couldn't believe it was my first day playing because I was already a little too good for that. And so they recruited me into OES, which is the knockoff version of SCJ. It's the rejects of SCJ, but not newbie like LOE. Just they were still good, but they were definitely SCJ light.
Okay.
And I joined them, and they were pretty competitive right from the start. And they started my training literally that night, and that's how I got my start.
Okay. It's kind of crazy to think that both of your guys' starts then were basically in Jedi, but you guys probably are the leaders of the most dominant Conquest clan of all time. Even though you guys were both, LSJ was both Conquest and Jedi.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, Conquest was not even on my radar for all. I thought it was newbie. I did not like Conquest. It was not on my radar at all. I would laugh at people who play Conquest.
Yeah, I think SDJ helped Black get into Conquest more, though, right?
Yeah. Once I joined SCJ, they had a little Conquest division, and it had a good record, and they would claim they were pretty good, but they weren't. But they got me into it. We beat up on the noob clans, and I was like, okay, this is kind of fun, and I'm pretty good at this. I wasn't, but that they got me into it, and then when we moved over to SOR had a Conquest record, and they had a good Conquest team, and then Jog would always brag about back in the day how good they were at Conquest. Like, so all these Jedi clans, they had these little side stuff. So we wanted to be the best Jedi clan, so therefore we also had to be a good Conquest clan, which makes no sense, but we even started a space team when we
Really?
we had whatever little edge we could. People would brag about their COD records. We're 1-0 on COD as well, so we're better clan. So we would open up divisions on 1,000 games, get one win, and just bring it up that we're undefeated.
What?
That's how the Jedi clans work.
One question I was always curious about: what happened to lead from ASO to LSJ? Because you guys were still together for all that.
Well, ASO to LSJ, I was with Sinister. I'm training under the god Sinister in a period of time.
Okay.
And then LAK took a break, I think.
Yeah, because after SDJ, I pretty much decided to make ASO with Scars. And we brought in our little noob, Kratos, and a few others. And we started going like that. And then Kratos in this time period would always jump between me and Sinister.
Okay.
Of kind of who was training him and who he was 2v2ing with and everything. And so he'd be in ASO one day, and then the next day he'd be in what was Sinister's clan at the time? Do you remember?
There's a million, dude.
I don't know. One of insert a billion Sinister clans. And then I always can get kind of burnt out. I'll go really hard for a little while, and then I'll need a little bit of a break.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what happened. And so I ended up taking a break for about a month or two. And then when I came back, we made, was it FA? We had Bill and Xerix.
We had a bunch of old names.
Yeah, we had the legends of the game. Every old guy that was good in 2006, we had in this clan in 2008. And they weren't that good, but man, on paper, people were terrified of this roster. It was a scary roster on paper, but. And then I think I took another break again, right? That's how that one died.
I don't know. There's so much. So long ago. But,
it is a long time ago.
The clans died so often.
Yeah.
And then eventually we joined MOH by accident at the same time as each other.
I'll be right back.
Okay.
Yeah, right after FA, we both immediately joined MOH. Kratos, you joined under a Smurf, and did I join under a Smurf?
I think you joined but I think I joined 2 days before you did.
Yeah, and we had no idea we were both in the same clan. And then when MOH's leader, Crap Gamer, found out, and MOH was SOR's rival, they were the top Conquest clan.
Yeah, I remember MOH. And
when Crap Gamer found out that he had two really good Jedi players on his team, he said, "Hey, I got a proposition for you. SOR's Jedi record is 12-0. Can you guys get to 13-0? I don't care who you beat. I don't care if you beat the worst team in the world 13 times in a row, but can you get 13-0? Well, I want to have a better Jedi record than SOR." And we're like, yeah, we can do that for you. Fuck SOR.
So what was it like in BFC? Because I think your first season you guys got either 5th or 6th. I don't remember. It's been a while since I've looked at that.
So our first season, we actually won.
Really?
Delta getting MVP, yeah.
Oh, so Delta was on your team?
It was kind of like the NCAA before there's playoffs, though.
Mm-hmm.
Where there's just whoever had the best record would get first place,
Okay.
So we kind of won it, but not because we were necessarily the best team, but just because we had the best record and the most wins.
Yeah, we played the most with
Okay.
Because MOH and SOR were better, but they both They were like 2-0, 3-0, and we were like 7-2 or something.
I think MOH was like 5-0 or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
We lost the MOH and the season, and they didn't win the season, but we did just because by default.
Okay.
And then we lost Delta for season 3 when he went to COS, and we kind of struggled because I had to switch to NG from Sniper, and we were kind of like just a middle tier team.
Okay. What was the change that like made you guys get better? Was it just grinding, or did you guys end up changing
eventually
the lineup,
we started. Season 4 is probably where we turned it around because we brought in the MOH guys. We beat COS, which was Destroyer's team.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, we kick all MOH out because we're like, okay, now we're gonna just play with our real lineup now. And then we ended up going undefeated for the rest of the season without them too.
Okay.
But and that was probably the turning point with season 4. Yeah.
That was the moment with season 4. That's where everything started clicking. Like you exploded on NG. I was starting to figure out Rocket. Scars was getting grunt. We found Pimp. Biostorm. Like we started really getting our roster together.
Yeah.
And we all started clicking at the same time.
It's like the equivalent of like when Super Maggot's like No Way, Slender, and all those guys all on the same team at the same time, and then it kind of stayed the same roster for a long time after that.
So I guess if you're a PS2 player, the common rivalry everybody knows is LSJ and Fear. Was there anything before we get into that one? Was there any other really like big rivalry for you guys, or was it just Fear?
Well, the first rivalry was SOR and MOH.
Did you guys ever like actually beat them on Conquest, or did they kind of just die out?
We never beat SOR or MOH.
We never. Well, yeah, we never played SOR except for 3v3s, which were really uncommon back then when we were noobs. We were their practice noobs, and we would just play them over and over and over again in 3v3s, and they would smash us.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we had no idea. They would just destroy us, and we'd say rematch, and they would do it until they got a better offer. Then they'd go play somebody else.
It's like the equivalent of like a bunch of like very low-rated players playing super mad over and over again and just not caring about getting wrecked over and over again, basically.
But I guess our first rivalry, really, we always had something with Destroyer. Kratos and Destroyer were always rivals, and that SOR, like they had the big shadow, and we were friendly with MOH. But I guess our noob rivalry would have been Trot.
Oh, I forgot about Trot.
Yeah, Trot was a pretty good rival clan. They had a lot of solid players, Maximus at the helm.
Okay. Well, let's talk about LSJ and Fear then. What was it like those 2 seasons where you guys ended up trading wins?
Well, we never traded wins. We basically told each other, we're gonna see you guys in the finals. You guys beat all the noob teams. We'll beat all the noob teams, and then we're just gonna farm records. And Fear went undefeated. We went like 22-3. So
was there still no playoffs back then?
Playoffs were
season 5, the first playoffs.
Yes.
So yeah, there were playoffs when Fear was around. Because Fear came in season 6, but Fear was pretty much the same team that they were in season 5. They just had a different name.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know how it's like on PC, but the top 2 teams on PS2 would just basically agree to just dodge each other until the finals to not give away anything till then.
Oh, really? Okay.
Or maybe we would do like a scrim off, not on the record, but we would do a scrim with not our best lineups, or it was our best lineups, but we'd throw or something, or strategies, or both teams would have their best lineup, but it was a scrimmage. Both teams are trying to throw.
Like the mental warfare was at an all-time high.
Trying to set stuff up so we could do the opposite in the finals.
You guys were big sweat back then. ISOF says PS2 community sounds like trolls.
A little bit.
I think nowadays PC is just pretty straight up competition. You guys just play each other and see who wins. Scrims might be a little less serious, but let's I guess we'll kind of from there. I think the only other time you guys lost was to Bot, right? And most people said it was because you guys weren't really motivated for it. Is that true, or did you guys have issues with Bot?
Well, we beat Bot with our top lineup in the regular season, right before the playoffs, but then we ended up getting upset by the Euros one time in the playoffs, which is was one of their biggest wins. I think was beating us. Like they had like posts, like essays written about like how they beat us.
Oh, really?
It was like an epic series. They went like 8 maps long because there's like we're going between London and the US over and over again until one team won like 2 maps in a row. It was a really good match though, yeah.
Interesting. Okay, I didn't know that.
And then the other one, I don't think we had LAK for the other season we lost versus Ruthless.
Because season 8 and 9, I was really into Halo. Like I wasn't playing that much. After we beat Fear in 2011, or season 7, I was really into Halo. Even
I was playing. We were all kind of playing League of Legends as well too.
Yeah. So we were kind of like we beat Fear. Fear was done. Our interest had kind of wavered a little bit, and then Bot also got really good.
We don't know if we could beat them or not if we did try.
Yeah.
But
they exploded, and they had a great squad. Diablo came out of nowhere.
Diablo, the prodigal son.
A-Hole rose up. He was an elite rocket. They took Biostorm from us.
Yes.
He was elite, and yeah, they just had a great lineup, and we really weren't prepared to do an epic series against them.
Yeah, they brought in Biostorm. That helped him a lot because he had played with us prior.
Mm-hmm. Why did you kind of split off from them, LAK? I know you ended up on Poison's teams a lot, or Taylor, but what was the reasoning for leaving Lsj?
So after 8 and 9, I hadn't played too much. Like I said, I've been playing Halo, and I only come back for season 10 because the GameSpy servers are shutting down. It's gonna be the last season.
Okay.
And I wanted to play, and I wanted to win that. And about halfway through season 10, I can be a bit sensitive, and Pimp and Scars were kind of laying into me, and then I kind of lashed out, and then we got into a big fight.
It was just a very toxic season in season 10 for all around.
Yeah.
It was like the most toxic we've ever been before. Because we wanted to like dominate, but it just wasn't happening.
Okay.
Yeah, like we thought we were just gonna come back. Like, okay, 8 and 9 don't really count for us. We're gonna come back just like we did in 7, and we're gonna win this, like no problem. And yeah, it wasn't happening. And so I by not playing and overrating myself, I had a big ego, and I'm like, I'm gonna go there, I'm gonna join AON and show you guys, how much you need me. And they're like, great, we'll take Acer from AON. He's better than you anyway. We're gonna get an upgrade. So we did the first trade ever between teams. I went to AON and replacing Acer at Rocket, and AON came to LSJ replacing me at Rocket. And that's how I left LSJ. It was like we were all on the same server just trolling. Actually, all of AON and all of us.
I think Scars and Pimp were like, I told Scars and Pimp just to get LAK to say, because LAK was like stalling the match. We've been waiting for like 2 hours, but LAK's not playing with us at the moment. I told him just to get LAK to say sorry for trolling us, and LAK's just like, I'm not saying sorry, it's over.
Jesus. All right, then.
But it was funny. And then we ended up playing in the finals against each other, and it went 6 maps. And then they took us down, obviously.
Yeah, I remember that part because everybody on AON was like super hyped about it.
Yeah, it was one of the probably the best finals. Maybe LSJ vs. Fear probably tops it just for 11 maps,
Yeah, 11 map series was going to game 11.
And then Kent went like 82 kills on the final map for us.
Yeah, this is back still during like our timers and huge ticket counts, right?
Yeah, it was Death Star CTF 1 hour, and Pimp just controlled the hallway like a god.
Rebel Sniper controlled the hallway against Fear and dropped 82 kills, which was the record at the time until he broke it later. With like 86 kills against AON, right?
Did Stern get the 100 death record on Death Star, right?
Stern died 100 times in an hour.
He was determined, bro.
But his pressure was insane. Like it wasn't stupid that he had 100 deaths. Like he was on Pimp the entire time, and Pimp was just having to shoot him over and over again. It's actually pretty incredible that he was able to do that for an hour, just die over and over.
But but after LAK beat us in season 10, we just brought him back. We won season 11 because we were just like, okay, let's just get some dubs still. We're going to do it. Scar's just like, yeah, Scars doesn't care. He's just like, okay, let's get the dubs. We'll bring it back at LAK. I'm just like, sure.
And then Pimp left.
Yeah, so we never really, the top 4 never really got back together after season 10.
And that was like, Crossfire came in after Pimp, right? That's when you guys had Crossfire for a little while, I think?
We had Acer for season 11. Crossfire didn't come until season 14 or 12?
12, yeah, because we were back together for 11, and then in the off season, we had another falling out, and I made him a wage. And then they used Crossfire to replace me in season 12.
Oh, okay.
Which was the next summer. Because 10 and 11 were the same summer, which was weird. We all usually did one season per summer.
Mm-hmm.
But after 10 ended, the servers still didn't shut down. So we're just like, well, let's do another one real quick. So we did like a really short season in 11. It was like less than a month long. And then we had playoffs included and all that, and then that was the end of that summer. And then there was a whole, like 8-month off season for 12.
Yeah, okay.
And we were playing together the entire time until like May or June, and that's when I broke off.
So the PC players, you guys play full year round, but for PS2 players, we would only play 3 months out of the year and not touch the game otherwise.
Well, not even scrim?
No.
Maybe some teams might do a little scrims to prep a little bit before the season, but overall, it would just be 3 months of like, you come into the season, you play a match, 2 matches a day at least, and
yeah, you'd grind hard during the season, and then you wouldn't play at all during the off season. And we might do a little small winter tournament, something silly like 44 grunts only, grunt tournaments or something like that, something small, but no one took them that seriously. And even if we did do a season like a winter tournament, if you want it, people would be like, whatever. Win the summer season. That's the one that matters. No one would care.
On PC, players are a little bit motivated for like self-improvement, whereas on PS2, like you just cared about fitting your role on your team because you played like only grunt, so you wanted to just play grunt on your team. Whereas on PC, you can play any class, so there's like you're more motivated to improve, I guess.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, honestly though, I think this is the most competitive PC's ever been. I don't know. I can't speak because
I think the rank ladder is extremely hard for everyone right now.
Well, I think that playing year round wasn't a thing prior for like tournaments and ladders and stuff. This is a bit different. I don't know for sure on that one. Doves might know more, but
Brawl might know more in Villain. I wasn't around at the start of like the competitive PC. Came kind of late to because I was playing pub servers.
Pascal's in chat. Slender, do you know? Did you guys play year round back then?
I don't think Slender came pretty late too.
He might have, yeah. What?
I think Slender came late. Probably No Way would know more about the EU side.
Yeah.
But I know that's like because Rawl was in. He was in either LT or LW, and those are basically the two big clans at the time. I don't think I ever played against either of those clans, so just heard about them.
Okay.
The legends.
The legends, the stories.
Let's fast forward a bit. We'll go to current time. You guys have now been playing on PC for I think LAK showed up first, then you came along, Kratos.
Yeah.
But you guys have been playing for at least a few months now, if not more. How are you?
December was when I showed up.
Ask both of you. You guys can take turns or answer simultaneously, whatever you want to do. What's it like playing on PC, and do you like it, or do you think PS2 is still superior, or do you think it's about even?
Since LAK came back first, I'll let him go first.
I'll say this: when you transfer from PS2 to PC is like this foreign world. Like it looks kind of familiar, but just there's nothing in common. It's just like a shock right away. I mean, literally, darkies are shocking you. It's a totally different game. Certain things that like work on PS2 don't work at all, and like we have certain strafes that we do on PS2 that just you look like a noob if you do them on PC, just because the way the lag kind of works.
Mm-hmm.
Like on PC, you have like the AD strafe, which works really well, and that's pretty much kind of what we would do. But we would do it kind of like sprinting back and forth, sort of.
Okay.
like a long sprint to the right, and then like you stop and turn and go to the left, and it kind of looks kind of laggy. And we would do that a lot. And if you do that here, you just get shot, and they're like, "What is this guy doing?"
Yeah.
So there's a lot of like stuff like that works really well on one. Like if you did an AD strafe on PS2,
Yeah.
you get slapped.
Yeah, I guess on PS2, like if you sprint, you move so fast, their aim can't keep up with you sometimes.
Okay. Do you like the format difference? Do you prefer class specific still? What do you think about that?
I think there's some pros and cons to both. I think the 4-4 class specific is really strong at what it does, and I think having be able to play every class and be able to switch adds a different kind of strategy. Being able to like, we were playing a scrim the other day, and Kratos was about to score a flag, and Scout was playing sniper, and he switched to NG and depacked Kratos right as he was jumping in. It's like, oh, that was such a good play.
Mm-hmm.
You could never do that. Scott would have been forced to get a headshot in that situation on PS2.
Yeah.
So, and you can kind of bait things and do stuff like that with PC, and you can switch for the situation. Spawn up a sniper, spawn back as a Wookiee on defense. So there's a lot of situational awareness by switching your classes and stuff, which adds a little bit of depth and strategy that we didn't have in that regard, which is nice. But I do like the class specific roles. Like everyone does have a role. You have your job. Your positioning really matters. If you're a rocket or a grunt, NG, where you're going, like, there's kind of ebb and flow to the match that's always there, and it's not dramatically changing all the time because, there's a huge power spike because you got darkies now, like it is on PC or something.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's a lot of pros and cons, and both are interesting. I still personally prefer the class specific, but I don't mind the any class anytime stuff anymore. But when you first come over, that's just mind blowing. These guys are just, we're not playing the same game.
Yeah, it was definitely mind blowing to me. And I actually never even like touched Conquest on PS2, but it was still mind blowing playing this way on PC.
Was there ever any like push on PS2 to switch that kind of style, or was it always just if you
when the Euros, we found the mod to like be able to play with the Euros, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Euros actually kind of played like the how PC players do. You could play any class you wanted to at any time. So they kind of pushed a little bit for it, but we just said we're just gonna do 4v4 CS, and because I think NA players were just slightly better than EU at the time, I think they conformed to our rules more than the other way, or they just played on ours, yeah. And we're like the EU community that kind of died out at that point, so they just wanted something to play.
Do you think it was more like that you were better, or just had more players? I think even if they were a bit better, if you guys had more players, they would kind of have to.
I think it was a bit of both. Like on PC, EU is the dominant continent over NA, but on PS2, I think it was reversed. Like we had Kratos, and that was the best player in the game, no doubt. And you had the stories of Destroyer and other people like that. Like we had the top players, really.
Okay.
But if we played by their rules, they would have probably beaten us. But I don't think they would have slapped us. But yeah, they would have had the Darky and Wookiee experience that we didn't have as much.
Yeah, because I think the way it started was way back in the day. It started as class-specific 66s. So Darkies, Bothans, everything was allowed, but only one of each.
Yeah.
And then slowly, as the game got smaller and smaller, it moved to 5v5s with mortars. So Wookiees and Imp-Offs. And then 44s, no specials. And then that's the way it stayed for forever. And every now and then, if we did a 5v5, we would do 5v5 with the mortar. And then slowly it became 5v5 2 NGs. And then it became really 5v5 2 snipers. If we ever did 5v5s. Yeah. But I think just from the beginning, just for whatever reason, the guys that started it just did class specific. And I mean, I guess it's an easy way to, understand. I don't know if it's the most balanced, but that's the way they did it. And that's just kind of how it progressed into the 4v4 class specific.
I guess another... oh, go ahead.
Yeah,
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, for you, LAK, switching over because you were a rocket player, right? Or did you switch around a bit? But like, do you think that made things just much harder for you than for say Kratos, or do you think it was just both you're kind of in the same boat?
I suppose
you're playing the same class,
a little bit harder because like I have a thing where I feel guilty if I play off class, even on PS2, even in scrims, even just screwing around. Like I feel like I need to be playing rocket. Because if I was playing NG or grunt or sniper, I wasn't improving my rocket. So I really didn't play other classes like at all. So coming over and having to play NG a little bit, that was a little weird. Like getting used to fusion cutter switches and stuff like that. Just step backing properly, health backing properly. That was a lot of intricacies to the game that I've known about but never actually done myself. So I had to learn NG pretty quickly. So I was a little behind in that regard. But other than that, like it's point and click, and I had the game knowledge, so it wasn't too hard to like switch to sniper or anything like that. So I don't think I was too much of a disadvantage. Like people act like rocket's like super easy to aim. You know, you just point and shoot at their feet, and you got a big splash radius. But the people on PS2 were so good at dodging rockets that that's harder than anything that PC players have to do in terms of like shooting. So it wasn't too much of an adjustment for me.
Shoot, I forgot what I was gonna ask. Well, damn.
Nice going.
Yeah.
Or Kratos, how do you think it was? Like, what's the difference between the PS2 NG and the PC NG?
Well,
So
with the
all the
wars,
numbers are the same,
without
but-
do you want me to? Can I speak with the words included in the conversation or not?
Whatever you
might as
feel.
well, 'cause it's the big thing.
With awards included, no specs, engineer cannot be stopped. Let me put this in reference. The three best NGs of all time, Diablo, B, Destroyer, out of 17 seasons, only 2 were not won by one of those 3 players.
Gotcha.
So if you had the top NG, you're going to get the dub most of the time.
I think Sev also proved that in the one we did in 2018 with awards on.
Yeah.
He went 37-0 on Naboo, so.
Yeah.
Well, I heard No Way was also a problem in that tournament, though. Wasn't he in that, or no?
Yeah, Supermad was in that tournament, but they played much more differently. Like, Vorpal was much more traditional, trying to put awards on the engineer, whereas Supermad was more about team play than it was piling it all onto No Way. No Way was good, but it wasn't like he didn't have full awards often.
Okay, but when he did, he's still, like, unkillable, though, right?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
He basically had to body him with a rocket to take down the NG.
No Way is probably the type of engineer where he's like, I don't need you guys to give me bases, I'm just going to get it by myself.
Yeah. It was PC's always been different because even like with playing with awards off a lot makes you play with a team mentality as opposed to like trying to put everything into your like NG basket, if you will. So even with awards on, there was a lot of teams that didn't really adjust to that. It was still the same type of play.
Yeah, I think there's some interesting dynamics to awards, but both have their benefits. It's just the reduction's probably too broken at the moment.
Yeah, reduction was just a little too strong was the issue, but it created a lot of fun strategies. Like, you know, your entire team would like leave bases in white so your NG could go and take them, and your team would hold off the other team, so your NG could just, you know, go get these bases for free. And I mean, we would count the points like 100%. We always knew exactly how many points or how many kills or how many auto turrets Kratos was away from reduction. That was the big one. Just do not let him get 24 points. 23 is fine, but do not let him get 24 points or we're going to be in trouble. And whenever anyone got a kill on the engineer, anyone, anytime, anywhere, even if he just died and spawned in, you know, we'd all scream out, reset the NG's points. It was so important. Like, you had to know at all times how many points the engineer had, and your engineer. Sometimes you'd be in a race, like your guy would be at like 15, and the other NG would be at like 8, and you'd be like, okay, it doesn't even matter. Just get our guy reduction first, and then it'll be fine.
Yeah.
We can battle out later.
And then there's some rockets on PS2 that would dedicate their lives to just being the guy that bodies them, like Iceman was, for instance. Whereas on PC, you don't really need to have that skill where you need to body the guy with the wards, you know?
Yeah, makes sense.
I would find Destroyer, and then I would just waste his time. Like I would put us in like this weird spot, like Coruscant, and he wanted to get to base 3, and I would just sit on the other side, and he'd sit on the other side, and I would stall him for as long as I possibly could. Even if we were losing the match and we were down to just base 3, I'm like, Destroyer's not doing anything, boys. I'm doing my job. That was just the entire plan for me. Sometimes was just to slow them down. Didn't matter if I didn't do anything myself, as long as their engineer wasn't doing something. I felt like I was doing a really good job. But
overall, PC Engineer gets nerfed on CTF just because specs shut him down so badly.
Yeah.
Like, Engineer can't... I mean, he could kind of almost take on a Wookiee, but Darky's not beating him most of the
time. Yeah. Engineer versus Wookiee is kind of interesting. Like, I feel like if the NG has the high ground, it's really OP versus the Wookiee. Not like maybe really OP, but he has like a really good chance. But if you're just kind of out in the open, you're kind of screwed. Unless you just get a big damage first shot, but doesn't usually happen.
Yeah, if it's mid range, I don't think the NG can win too much.
It has to be close.
I've been told that PS2 NGs used to play with health packs selected automatically, and then they would switch to debts if they were going to use their debt. Do you still do that now, or do you play with debt?
I try to do more debt first, but I still prioritize survival. Yeah. Okay. There's a few PC players that do the same thing I do. Like Crude, for instance, is a player that I noticed that prioritizes health packing and surviving. Like, I see him do some crazy stuff where, like, on Mustafar, he'll just throw a health pack through a door and, like, do movement into the health pack. Because, it's just like, okay, I just hope they don't one-shot me and I'll heal up,
Yeah.
I think I like Adestria's health pack plays. He throws a health pack at you on purpose to try to bait you into grabbing it and then throws a dead on you.
Yeah.
If you're not ready for it, you're like, oh, he just threw a health pack at me. What an idiot. And then there's just a death pack behind it.
Yeah, that's right.
But I remember at some point, that was like when we were all watching EU players back in the day, and they were just better. We were trying to learn from them. And I remember that a lot of them used health pack out instead of death pack. So I think it's not as uncommon.
The
NGs on PS2 would like get in little debates about who was faster on the health packs, and that was like a big deal. Was who could have the health packs down before they even took damage and stuff. They were always bragging about or giving the other ones a little bit of shit about your health pack was a little slow there, buddy. Like nonstop. That was like the big like debate between NGs sometimes. Or like a compliment, like someone who was coming into the game and, hey man, his health packs are pretty fast. I think he's going to be a good NG. that was the skill. Like, didn't care about the death packs because engineers. They were
on PC.
It was all about staying alive.
Yeah, on PC, PC players are better at like punishing mistakes with their death packs, as well as just they will wall you out so much better than PS2 players ever did with their death packs. Like, it is hard to get on a PC, like a top level PC engineer. It is hard to get aggressive on them and just shotgun them because they will wall you out with death packs and they'll have their shotgun ready too.
Yeah.
I was another question I was going to ask is you guys got like if there was an NG that used deck pack select, they kind of got branded as a deck pack core, right? Back in the day.
Yeah, Snipes was the main guy. That was probably that guy. Yeah.
I think
that's still here on PC.
I think Vortex also was for Ruthless when he played.
He was a pretty known deck pack first guy.
Okay.
And then Destroyer and Acid, they both had their unique death pack styles. Destroyer would do like crazy long death packs, whereas Acid would just throw the quickest death packs.
Yeah, Acid, called them Acid packs. They were so fast.
Acid might have been one of the few that like actually tried to look down when he threw death packs, I guess.
Okay. Did you guys
look down?
Yeah, if you not look completely down, but as long as you're not looking, like, don't looking up when you're throwing a death pack when someone's close to you,
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of NGs for a while were trying to throw them far and long, so you'd be looking up more, whereas Acid would get really close and throw these really fast death packs that most people didn't throw, so they usually catch you off guard for a while. As the game was like developing later on. it didn't catch you off guard as much, but there was a time where like, what did he just do? Like, why is he not floating one up on me?
I've lost track. I was gonna ask again. I'm doing really good today. Absolute brain farts all around. So I know you guys. I think you guys weren't exactly that happy. You guys didn't get to play in play-ins for the 3v3. So what's your like goals or expectations going into 3v3 this season?
Kratos.
Our goal is to dominate the Division 2. And then we're going to make Division 1 and we'll take down Superbad next season.
Alright, okay. Well, it's heard it here first.
But honestly, it's probably the best thing that could have happened was for them not to let us in, because we would have came in pretty motivated to the bracket.
Mm-hmm.
But now we're a little bit extra motivated since we didn't get a chance to play. So now we're just coming in with the mentality we're going to come as prepared as possible. And now we have plenty of time to try out any strats we want to try out now in these scrims. And we're just trying to scrim as much as possible, yeah.
From having played you guys have
gotta be like
some interesting strats.
Yeah. We're trying. We're going to try out a lot of stuff.
Will there be...
We just gotta take everything personally for motivation, and we gotta even make up stories sometimes. Like Michael Jordan did. We just got to take anything as a slight, even if it's not. We're just like, they're keeping us down. Whatever it is, we gotta find motivation.
Who do you think would be like your hardest opponent to beat, looking at teams that you expect to be in Division 2?
Nobody.
Probably. So looking at Division 2, I think Pictures and Aces team probably if they drop, and then I think your guys' team will make it to Division 1 Caamen.
Oh yeah, yeah.
If though Kevin plays, I think it'll be hard for sure. So
Kevin,
it just depends on the other teams. KGC and Hot Soup will be tough though too.
Zemo, maybe in the future, yes. Calm yourself, okay?
And then Bester's team will also be a tough match for us too.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of teams that are sneakily strong, I think.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing about scrimming you guys is you guys are already though really, really strong. And I've only really played you guys with teams that were considered OP for who you're playing, so to think that you guys are already really strong, I'm really looking forward to watching you guys play this season and proving me wrong for being part of the group that was like, let's just throw them in Division 2.
Yeah.
I think Zemo has a match soon. That's probably why he wants to get these done.
Yeah, we do. There is a match in 45 minutes, so I want to try and run into it so that we can host BFH. But
I think our main advantage as a team is just that we have played together so much that we kind of know each other. Even though we might not have the most individual skill, we're pretty confident in each other. Like we all believe in each other.
You kind of know each other? I think you more than kind of know each other at this point.
Yeah.
I kind of know that LAK guy.
What's it like having the dynamic duo back together? Because I think
well, you saw what happened on Jedi. We made some moves to Jedi. We went pretty far. We didn't go all the way, obviously, but we made some. We made some people very angry.
Yeah, you made an entire team rage quit. So, well done to you guys.
But we're Phoenix Gold level and motivated now. Like we're ready for Division 2.
All right, I'm looking forward to it.
Are you gonna have Scars hop in the voice channel and hype you guys up?
Indeed.
That's actually a question I wanted to ask is, what makes you guys so motivated that, I think you guys played Vorpal most of the PS2 season, and now you've been playing and scrimming teams that might be on paper a little above what you guys are at right now. What's got you so motivated to push through losing so much?
That's always been our strategy. From day one, we've always believed you got to get beaten to beat people. You got to get wreck to wreck.
That's what Super Duper said himself. Yeah.
Yeah, Super Duper, the Jedi legend himself, and I mean, that's what we did, with SOR back when we first switched to Conquest. We 3v3 the best 3 players in the game, and we just got
like if we could, we would play super bad every day if we could. But it's not worth their time, obviously, to do that. Like they have better things to do than just smack us every day.
Losing has never bothered us, and especially like when we're supposed to lose, we just take it as a chance to improve, and the best way to improve is to play the best people.
The only time we would get frustrated is if we lose in tournament.
Yeah, especially if we thought we should have won that, then we get a little tilted. But that's a different mentality, different situation. But for training, where we just go through it, and it doesn't bother us at all.
That's refreshing to hear. I don't think many people have that kind of mentality.
I think, honestly, all these teams that are low-rated, they should just play the best teams, get wrecked. So what? You lost to a better team. That's what's supposed to happen.
Yeah, you're not going to really encouraged if you play better than you thought. You make it really close. You're like, man, we're really getting better. You can really see that improvement.
And honestly, props to the guys that are taking the time to play us too. I've been very happy that people have been willing to play us, even though we're not the best practice, but we're giving our all.
You're welcome, Kratos.
Thank you,
We'll be
anything for you, buddy.
Thanks, guys. Thanks.
I guess kind of as a parting thing, because for some reason questions from the audience usually take a while, so parting thing I guess would be to ask, in terms of the BCL and how it's run and managed, is there anything you would do to change it, or is there anything you have to suggest to improve it? What's your thoughts on it?
I would have just liked every team to get the chance to do the play-in bracket, but otherwise I think the BCL's doing good. I like the ranked. Maybe I think it should be it should be +10, -10 for ranked instead of +5, -5, but that's about all I changed for there.
Okay. And
then I like you play both sides of every map. That's really good for
that was my question.
Yeah, I prefer that. It has its benefits. Whereas with 5 maps, unique pick, you're gonna play a lot more maps, and you have to kind of show your skill of the game a little bit more on some maps. But on this, you can pick your map, and you can just be the better team on that map on both sides, and it's more advantageous to be you can master, I guess, a little bit more,
Okay. LAK, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I think having the both maps, I think, is a really good way, especially with the way that it's done with darkies and everything. I think certain maps you wouldn't be able to pick with y'all's rule set unless you were able to play both sides. So I think with y'all's rule set, having it just be 2 maps and playing both sides is definitely probably the right way to go about it. It's something that we never even really thought of PS2, but also we never had. There's only a couple maps that were really unbalanced, like Jabba's, but even then, at the end, we actually started to believe that Rebels was better on Jabba's than Class Pacific than Empire. So after a while, all the maps were still available to us. Whereas once Darkies came in, I think y'all found a good solution to that problem.
Is there?
Yeah,
there's a lot of variety in strategy. For instance, you can pick Conquest, get rid of their Darky players.
Yeah.
You can pick NG maps if they have a lot of sniper players. There's a lot of strategy in map picking in this for sure.
Yeah, you can pick Dagobah clones.
Whereas in PS2, the map picking strategy is all right, we don't really have an award NG carry, so we're gonna do small maps with a few bases and control choke points,
Okay.
And then if you had a carry NG, you're picking maps where there's a lot of bases and a lot of base running.
Makes sense.
And then the only things that I would change is I think everything is run actually pretty smooth, pretty well over here. Maybe the ranked being changed up a little bit for 10 points or something, because 5 is a pretty small change as well. And if you look at it, even some of the top players, to catch another top player, they'd have to win, 30 matches in a row right now to even get close.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just kind of unfeasible, I think.
Okay.
So the gap between, of course, then again, if you do it 10, maybe the gap would just get even bigger. So I'm not sure.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
But sometimes it seems like 2 players are pretty close skilled, but the gap is huge and the guy can't catch up. He just can't play enough,
Yeah. Yeah. Makes sense.
And then, the play-in, like Kratos said, One second, I got a cough.
Okay.
Sound like you're struggling over there.
I've been fighting through that. I'm just trying not to cough. Yeah, I think every team, again, for me, coming from Halo a lot, they had the top 16 the top 16, no, top 29 teams or 31 teams were set. And then at every tournament, then they'd have a 256 open bracket, and the person who won that got to go into the championship bracket, which was top 32.
Mm-hmm.
So it didn't matter if you had never played the game before, or if you were like a semi-pro that usually got into the championship bracket. You were in the same bracket, and you had the same opportunity to make it as far as you could. And
would you guys play that? Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Would you guys play that bracket in like a weekend or like 2 weekends?
Yeah. That would be
I think that's one of the problems with
is the time.
Yeah.
And going to time, my next thing is I'd like to see some double elimination tournaments. I know they take a lot longer and they can kind of stall things out, but they're just such a higher quality tournament.
Well, you're in luck. 3v3 and the summer major will both be double elim. So
awesome. Yeah. And summer majors is pretty much like the biggest tournament.
Yep.
Like I'm assuming, yeah. So that makes sense. As long as there's like one tournament and it's the biggest tournament and that gets the double elimination treatment, I'm happy.
Okay. All right. We'll move into questions then. First question is from the bird that is on the hosting desk here. You could go, if you could go back in time to the start of PS2. What would you take from PC and try to implement? Whether it's map pool, scrim style, class rules. Would there be anything you'd implement?
I would 100% add more CTF to our map pool. Something I always tried to do on PS2 was add a little bit of maps. Like the PS2 guys were kind of, I want to say, a little stuck in their ways sometimes on the maps. Like everyone had their comfort picks and didn't want to go outside. I'm the one who pushed the envelope and brought Jabba's back into the common map pool and brought Kashyyyk in out of nowhere, which actually played fantastically on 44 CS on PS2. It seems like it wouldn't, and I don't think it'd work on PC, but it worked really well on a class-specific PS2. It had a lot of like small, like in-depth strategies and just became like a really good map. And then CTF, I brought in Tana CTF. Before we only played Death Star CTF, and then I was trying to bring in some others as well because like Jabba's, like there's some good ones out there that we never played. So I definitely would like to bring in some more CTF picks into to PS2.
Yeah, it's just that MOH was anti-CTF, SOR was also anti-CTF. It was just the only team really that did CTF back then was TRS, and they were kind of like a meme.
Yeah, they were the meme team for sure.
Other than Death Star, you guys chose the best CTF map.
It's just that no teams, like, it was allowed for the first 4 seasons to pick whatever map you wanted, CTF included, just no one would pick them. And then eventually, like, they got tired of like these cheese maps. They just eliminated and said we're doing Conquest, Death Star CTF, and Tana CTF.
Is there anything else you would add to that, Kratos, or is that what you kind of
maybe experiment with the words a bit, just to change something. Yeah.
I heard that the reason you guys play with the words was because you couldn't like turn them off. I don't know if that's true or not.
Them off.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So we would have to find a mod, something, but yeah.
Yeah, there was an option on our server manager to turn them off, but it didn't work. And then I had a few guys actually try to mod it out, and they were unsuccessful. And then I think maybe at the end, someone finally figured out how to do it. But that was at the end. It didn't matter.
Probably Michael.
I think it was like eyes only.
Oh yeah, I didn't know he was on PS2.
He was a PS2 guy before PC.
He modded out Dark Glitch.
So there's like the main hacker clan on PS2, which was Raptor, and he was one of the big guys for Raptor.
Was it called VA? Because that was called on PC.
Yeah. Well, he ended up being VA after Raptor.
Yeah, VA was later. Yeah, I'll see when I see that.
Oh, it's from the Frag show, right?
Yeah, it's from a Frag show.
Okay. I was like, damn, you're really into this talk show.
Sean asks, from your match with EU teams in clan matches or BFC, who were the standout players? So we're talking like European players here.
So, me and Lak kind of already talked about this before we even came on the show, but Michael was the big name. But the problem with Michael was that in BFC matches, he hated playing on NA so much that he just said, I'm going to play Grunt. I'm not going to try my hardest, basically. So we never really got to see try hard Michael, I guess, on EU.
Even the matches in the EU servers, yeah. But we heard the legends, yeah.
And then
whenever we compliment an EU player, they should be like, well, you should see Michael. It's like, we would love to see Michael. But we never did. And
then Yoda's still around. Yoda's a solid player, but he wasn't like god tier on PS2 by any means. And then probably the most standout player was Cohen for me, or Kuhn. He was a really good sniper that he got more headshots than any other sniper I've really seen, so he's kind of different in that way. So that'd be my pick.
And on PS2, like the snipers would go for bodies and double pistol usually. That was
pistol was buffed.
Yeah, pistol was buffed on PS2.
Okay.
So that was the big strategy.
Would you bring that buff over to PC?
Yeah. I'd love that.
100%.
Even if it made Darky better. I guess Darky's commando pistol, so it doesn't really matter.
Darky's different pistol.
Yeah. But definitely, it'd be great. The sniper 2 pistol bodies, that'd be fun.
Until you play against a really good sniper.
We'll move on to Isa's questions. 1, how difficult was it to switch from controller to mouse and keyboard?
So for me, it was a very slow transition. I did not do keyboard. I did controller and mouse.
Controller and mouse.
Got a little used to that. And then I was like, And then, remember when the big bug happened, the update happened?
Mm-hmm.
That happened, and I couldn't do controller and mouse on that. So I was like, okay, I guess I gotta go KBM now. So I went KBM. I was like, this is actually easier to aim on KBM. My strafe is more in line with my mouse, etc., etc. So I'm like, okay, I'll just go KBM.
You're gonna have to explain the controller and mouse.
The
world needs to hear it.
So my dead packs and my switch were still on my left shoulder buttons. And I used my select map still. And then I just sprinted. And then I had my jump on my side mouse button and my roll on my side mouse button. And then shoot and switch were on the mouse buttons too. Or left and right click.
What a Frankenstein setup.
It wasn't bad. I might honestly, once I really get good at KBM, I might go back to it, 1v1 Michael with it or something. We'll see what happens.
I mean, Isaac uses...
Isaac's the innovator for sure of that. But I do think just KBM is just a little bit better still. It's a little bit awkward on controller mouse.
A little bit awkward.
You don't have fucking 4 hands.
Oh my god. Black, was it hard for you? Easy?
So thank God, before I started playing Star Wars on PC, I had been grinding Valorant.
Yeah, okay.
So and that was really my first PC game. I played a little bit of Fortnite and stuff like back, but really Valorant was my first real mouse and keyboard experience.
Okay.
And prolonged. So I've gotten a little warmed up to it before I came over. But even then, I'm really awkward with mouse and keyboard. My fingers don't like to move to other keys, and it's a little weird for me. I'm still transitioning. Like,
okay.
I'm not as smooth as I could be. Like, I pulled out a controller the other day just for a minute, and I was like, man, I do everything so much faster and better. Like, my hands just fly around the controller. It's just so like comfortable. Whereas mouse and key, it's a struggle for me still.
Okay. 2, the question was, how does PC competition compare to PS2?
We kind of touched into this already. Your guys is like a full year-round experience, which ours is like a 3-month experience of just nonstop. It's very team-centric on PS2. Like, all you care about is your team getting the dub and getting good with your team. You don't care about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
All you care about is winning with your team and making sure you're playing the right way for your team.
Okay.
And constantly, like, if you were struggling in the season, like, teams would have meetings and, like, long conversations about what everyone's got to do. And then, like, in one of our seasons where we're struggling, like, the first time it's ever happened, my team's, like, telling me, Kratos, you got to calm down. You got to start playing more defensive and stop going in all the time. And I was like, what? Like Pip and Scars are, like, giving me this long talk about how I got to start playing more defensive. And I'm like, okay.
All right.
Yeah, PC is definitely more of like a marathon. Y'all have to pace yourselves a little bit. Just because you play all the time, year round, you're just always kind of around the game. Whereas PS2 was a sprint. We didn't play for 9 months out of the year, and then when we'd hop on, it was crack your knuckles, stretch a little bit, and be like, all right, this is what I'm doing for the next 3 months. I'm only playing this game. Like, you do 3-4 matches a night. You do practices in between and after and before the matches, and you'd be grinding. Like, that's all you pretty much did was play.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you say 3-4
harder.
When you say 3-4 matches a night, those weren't like 4-map scrims. Those were long scrims.
Yeah, those were 5-map scrims.
Those weren't 4-map 15-minute scrims.
If it was 2 even match clans, it's an hour and 15 minutes at least, yeah.
Minimum, yeah. 2 hours for a match would definitely not be some rare. Because sometimes a Mos Eisley or something or a Naboo could last an hour. It would go to timer sometimes. That was rare. And usually if that happened, that meant the match was amazing. Like, you usually weren't bitching if that happened, because that meant, like, it was really good.
So you got to think about timers here. They play with 60-minute timers and way higher ticket count than we do.
Yeah, we played to 300 reinforcements and 1 hour timers on Conquest. And CTF, we had 1 hour timer, 3-cap Death Star, and 30-minute timer, 5-cap Tanov.
Dave's got a 4-hour match on YouTube versus LSJ.
Nice.
Is this the one where you guys beat LSJ, Dave, or is it just a match?
It might be the one where they beat us. Yeah, that might be the epic battle.
We used to play no timer on Death Star ISO.
They tied. No timer Death Star. How long would those go?
To continue another day.
I mean usually an hour or under, but occasionally they'd go.
If you tried to pause, like, be like, okay, guys, this is going too long, you have to go, you would get flamed for doing that.
Oh yeah, you'd just be like, no, you're dropping a guy and 4v3 now. 4v3 now. We've been here for 11 hours.
The
finishing this match.
The flame would be happening.
Oh, that's insane.
Real quick, I want for the EU players, I also want to shout out Phantom. He was in pretty much every EU NA match, and he was pretty good.
He was definitely like the pioneer of EU. He should honestly maybe even be in the Hall of Fame, to be honest, for how much he did EU wise.
Yeah. So I definitely want to shout him out. But yeah, for the differences of the competition, I'd say PS2 is more tense for shorter bursts, whereas you guys are year round. So like I don't think you can.
Well, we have to see how the summer major looks.
True.
Our Mos Eisley's at 1 a.m. or hell. Moving
Especially
on.
if you're the guy on the reggie.
Zemo asks, what mouse and keyboard player do you think would clap on controller / PS2?
Any of the top players on PC would do fine on PS2 after a few months.
Yeah, I think they'd struggle at first. I think really hard. I think they would be shot. I think whoever probably has the best mentality would be the one that could do it. Because at first they'd get slapped, and I don't know if they'd be able to handle that at first. But if there's a player that could, they would adjust eventually.
I remember when there was one time I actually played PS2 in a pub after playing PC for so long, and I was versus Rocket in Death Star Hallway. I was oh man, this is gonna be easy to dodge, and I just got fucking destroyed. And I'm like, yeah, I forgot about increased blast radius.
Yeah, the top players would have a hard time adjusting to the rockets. Like the PS2 guys, like I said, are so good at dodging the rockets. Like they're amazing at it. Whereas the PC guys, I think, would struggle for a while against rockets to have that like complete entertainment and the intricacies of like kind of the mind games. Because sometimes it kind of turns down to like a rock paper scissors if I'm going to hit my rocket or not. Because they do this, knowing that I'm going to do this, and so I'm going to shoot my rocket here. But then they jump to the son of a bitch.
I guess it's more about predicting than like aiming.
Yeah,
almost
total prediction. Mm-hmm.
Zemo says he meant more like, who do you think could adapt to using controller the best? I don't know if that changes the answer at all.
Okay,
it's kind of hard to Yes.
Yeah. That's kind of guesswork.
I guess I could just base it on how they play and if that would work in PS2, I guess. Honestly, maybe Crew, just from how he plays so movementy and he's all over the place.
Okay.
Like,
I cannot use a controller to save my life.
I started using controller.
I would be bottom of bronze if we all had to use controllers.
like being able to move well is like one of the most important things, and Crew prioritizes moving well, so he'd do fine on PS2.
Okay. Kimo asks, what's something different on PC that you like? We kind of touched on this some, but if you guys want to reiterate, I guess, or maybe it's something different.
I kind of, it's different, and I don't know if I prefer it, but it's different, and I do enjoy that it is a 15-minute timer conquest. That is kind of cool, because you can kind of get in those moments where, like, hey, we just need to hold on, we have the reinforcement account, or hey, you know, like there's only like 2 minutes left to stop them from taking the base, or we gotta go now. Like there's 4 minutes left even, and we're not gonna get this in time. We have to win now, kind of thing. And that's kind of fun and intense.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't prefer it, but it's fun, different. Like honestly, that'd be cool to like in a PS2 match to have two different. We want to pick Mos Eisley 1 hour. We want to pick Mos Eisley 15 minutes and be two different maps almost.
Yeah.
Because they play totally different. And it's fun. I do enjoy it.
Yeah, just coming to new PC, all the new rules, all the new stuff. It's been like a new lease on the game, and it's been a lot different. So that's been just something different. It's been fun, yeah.
Okay.
Eunice is here. Oh no.
Oh no.
Shut the stream down.
Wow,
I guess that's what I really like is that there is competition. You can just hop on and get a scrim anytime. You couldn't really do that on PS2 that well. Like you can pretty much play anytime on PC, and it's also nice. Kind of being bad now and having to go back and reclimb and go through these challenges again instead of like having the pressure of trying to hold on to like being a top player or something like that. It's fun to just have no pressure and just like if I win, it's like a big deal, and if I lose, I'm supposed to. That's refreshing as well.
Okay. WoW has a string of questions, so we're gonna try and go through them as we can. But the first one is. We kind of touched the like already, so I'll just go with dislike. So what do you dislike about PC game, meta, rule set, or community compared to PS2?
Dislike.
I dislike the people, everyone in it.
All right, then.
No. Most of my major dislikes I've grown to appreciate. So I don't think there's anything in the game or the meta that I truly dislike anymore. Even if I dislike it, I still appreciate it enough that it doesn't bother me at all.
Okay. And
the rule set or the game meta, really.
Okay, this is what I think we need to start getting rid of like Mustafar GCW, Tatum GCW. We need to get rid of these because the problem with it is that on some people's screens these Starkies are going through the floor. You know.
Yeah.
It just isn't right, in my opinion. When on some people's screens they're going through floors, and other people they're fine and stuff like that. That seems inconsistent to me. So I would get rid of the indoor darky maps and get rid of GCW. I know that might be some people are like Stud Muffin are like, why though? But yeah,
there's a decent amount of PC players that also want to get rid of
I don't think
GCW.
I don't think
that's the only thing I dislike at the moment is the indoor GCW maps.
Okay. Sniper, you figure out a fix to the crashing problem, and we'll put Felucia in as fast as we can. There's tons of people that like Felucia, but with the amount of crashes,
51 brightness, isn't that?
No, it does not. It does not fix it.
I would love to have Felucia in the map pool, so that'd be great.
Yeah. There's a lot of people that like Felucia. It's just the problem of crashing that.
I would love if we could fix that. I would love to 3v3 on it too. Yeah, it'd be fun.
Next question is actually for Kratos. You are regarded as one of the best Ingies or players on PS2. How does it feel to have to grind again on PC? Do you enjoy the challenges PC provides over PS2?
Yeah, I get to learn new classes like Darky, and that I haven't really gotten to learn before, and there's a lot of more players to play against on PC compared to PS2. There's Super Mad, there's Sev, there's a lot of guys that are at the top that are unreachable almost at this point, but it's a good goal to have, but it'll be a long way away.
Yeah, I think it's a really good thing that you didn't like have a big ego coming in. That you kind of like stayed humble. So like, I think there'd be a lot of players if they were the best on one thing and they come into it something new and they just get wrecked and they just go, well, this sucks. I'm not gonna do it. Like this isn't what I'm used to. And
well, it was the same way when I came back for PC Jedi, even though it was very similar to PS2 Jedi. I was bad at first, like, but it was just gonna take time.
It's kind of interesting that the best PS2 player has a humble ego, and then the current regarded best PC player has a humble ego too. Kratos on his way to be in the next
I am pretty humble. That's true.
Doves is so humble. Like, oh my gosh, he never brags ever.
Yeah, true.
Never heard Doves brag. You're right.
Only when I farm Kratos. Which is all the time. So.
Next question is, do you think any other PS2 players would be interested in playing on PC and with PC meta? I know Delta tried it, but he left it really fast.
Delta would despise all
Yeah,
that.
he played
He's
like
the old school guy they were talking about. That's anti everything. Yeah, he would get shot.
He would hate that, and also like Delta's an NG main, and with specs on, NG goes down a tier, so he's not gonna like it.
Didn't he rage quit because pistol swap was allowed?
He rage. Yeah. Oh well, not PC, I don't think, but he rage quit on PC because of specs and the fact that mouse and keyboard was just too OP in his eyes.
Yeah.
Do you think mouse and keyboard is too OP?
I think if some PS2 players would, if they had the time for it, whereas PS2, like, you could just hop on and you still have your skill to rely on. You don't have to improve, like you don't have to get back on the grind to be a top player again. You can rely on your past experience, So they just stick to PS2. Whereas if they came to PC, they'd have to grind. If Pimp had the time, he would be here with us, but he's not. He doesn't have the time.
I mean, what little he played, he was nuts for how little he had played. I remember there was a lot of couple misses.
He'd 100% be here grinding. He's an LSJ guy. He likes to lose.
And recently, you guys have saw that Crossfire just randomly came out of the woodworks too. So some PS2 guys are saying, "Oh, look, PC Battlefront. This is interesting." So. Then they see us here and they're like, okay, those guys are playing, maybe we'll join up with them. And that's what's happening a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, you guys contributed to our largest tournament to date with 60 players, so you guys are doing a great job bringing people in. I appreciate it.
And nice.
Next question is, why did you guys play with such a long timer in the BFC, and who thought DSCTF 60 minutes was a good idea?
Well, actually... we played Death Star with no timer, and 60 minutes was the compromise for like the two people that hated Death Star.
We used to do no timer until about season. Do we even have timer for season 7? Like, I don't know if.
No, we didn't have timer in season 7. I think that was like 10.
It might honestly, bot might have been the innovators of the timer strat. Well, actually, I think we had timer strat by season 6 or season 7. Yeah. Because we knew the 15-second spawn timers, But some server, it wasn't like you didn't have to have the timer on every time. It wasn't like a rule to have it on until like, I don't even know when it happened, to be honest, anymore. But
it was like 10 or 11, I think. So that was like 2011 or so. For
a very long time, it was so important for your team to call out spawns when they were dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you didn't have the timer to look. So you couldn't just look over and have any idea. So your team had to do that all the time, nonstop, to have any idea.
Okay.
Same thing for Conquest. We didn't have a timer for a long time either.
Yeah, makes sense. How did you come up with your tags? I don't know specifics behind what this question is.
For our game tags?
Yeah.
I think nickname.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So how did you come up with
Kratos
and LAK?
I just copied mine from a character from a game I played. It's not the Kratos from God of War. It's a Kratos from another game. It's from Tales of Symphonia. It's like for the GameCube.
Oh, okay. And LAK, how did you get yours?
I was sitting there. I didn't want to use my RuneScape name, which was DBZ Matthew.
Okay.
I was sitting there trying to think of a good online name because DBZ Matthew is not a good online name. And I was trying to think of something really cool, and I sat there for like 4 hours on the login screen for Star Wars trying to think of something amazing. And in hindsight, I was looking for something like Instinct or something like that. And I just finally raged, and I just kind of flipped out on my controller and moved it around with the left stick and pressed X. And I got a capital L, capital A, and a capital K. And I was like, whatever, it's kind of a word. I'll use that till I think of something cool.
It just stuck.
14 years later, or 15 years later, I'm still using LAK,
Has anyone ever come up with like a good acronym for it?
The main one was Legend at Killing was the main one.
Legend at Killing.
I like that.
And then it stands for apparently Love and Kisses. I mean, I've heard so many acronyms that are not very
What's your favorite one?
I can't think of one off the top of my head, but anytime I hear something or a joke that maybe sounds, oh, what's that for? Lack of skill? I've heard that 7 billion times. Like, it was funny the first time.
At least
I hear a joke about my name or an acronym about my name that's funny that I haven't heard before. That becomes my favorite for a while, but I can't think of one.
At least you don't have to deal with all the Caamen jokes.
Yeah, I guess we all have our problems.
How long have you both known each other for?
2007.
Yeah, summer 2007. So
14
almost
years.
almost 15 years. Yeah.
Jesus.
It's older than some community members.
Doves is tying with the questions above. Thoughts on class balance?
On both PC and PS2.
So on PS2, Engineer was like S tier, and everything else was like A tier at best.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas on PC, Darky's S tier, and everything else is an A tier, in my opinion.
Yeah,
So,
PS2 definitely NGs are the big dick, no doubt about it. It started off Rockets were like A tier, kind of right there, sort of with the NG, but as people got better with their movement, Rockets fell down a tier. And then, in my opinion, at the end, snipers overtook rockets as an importance because they started getting really good.
It just depends on the map pool, yeah. But snipers they get better at like small maps, though.
Yeah, for a long time they were really bad, and they were just like, "I'm a sniper," like at the very beginning, especially, like, "I'm a sniper," and they were staying back, double scoped, and just stop. And then like the speed sniper came around where they'd run bases. And then finally, the Slain sniper, the one kind of with the way the PC plays, came about in PS2, and they started just wrecking shop. They would just snipe everybody, or they just hit somebody once, even then leave them, and then you're weak for the next fight. It's just frustrating. So sniper started getting really good, but then coming over to PC, and Grunt's bad. you can do something, but Grunt's bad.
Unless you're Don't Care Dave against the team. I don't know if you guys have seen that clip.
I haven't seen it yet, but he kills somebody with the grunt, right?
He just one shots him.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
In the 3v3 highlights channel.
That sounds epic.
Shotdown killed Destroyer with full awards once with his grunt. It was legendary.
Grunt just feels so hit or miss.
Didn't you?
No, I've never died to a grunt with full awards.
Okay. Sorry, I
never.
Unless there's a double team.
Yeah.
Tell us a funny story about one of the PS2 players that nobody knows about.
A funny story.
Well, the good news is most of
maybe we should save this one for last because we got the tourney match.
Okay.
We can get to it at the end.
WoW asked, how did Bomber get involved with the Ps2 community?
He just kind of showed up one day and said, "I'm the best PC player ever, and I'm going to."
So yeah, he kind of did come in with like he was like the god of 1v1s on PC or whatever, and then or I don't know, bro, but. Mainly, the main thing he was impressed with was how good the Rocket players were on PS2.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he was so impressed with JJ LAK and the other top-tier Rocket players. I don't know if he understood that the Rocket was better at first. I maybe later found out, but he's like just in awe of like rockets getting kills, and so
Okay.
that's the main thing he was impressed with. But on PS2, he never really tried to go. He's similar to Michael in that he would not go NG in actual matches. He would just go grunt, you know.
Okay. If you could bring back one PS2 player, who would it be?
Oh, that's hard. Maybe,
Pimp
maybe,
for sure.
maybe Diablo would be interesting. 'Cause Diablo was good at everything, you know.
Yeah, but Pimp's kind of around, so to give another answer, yeah, Diablo would be cool to bring back to over here. It'd be kind of fun, even though he probably wouldn't do that good. It'd be kind of, if he had like time and everything, it'd be fun to have the presence of like a destroyer or something. That's going like older. But as to people that actually like were around and played, Diablo's probably got to be the obvious choice.
Okay.
All right, who's got his number?
Why?
I mean, if A-Hole started playing PC, Diablo would be there with them, though, yeah.
Oh yeah, and Acerola, bringing in Acer.
Oh, yeah, we've been trying to get Acer to play,
We've been
but
trying to get Acer for the entire time, and he's not wearing down. But I'm gonna break him one day, and he's gonna play.
Why did the BFC play little to no CTF with class specific rules? I think we kind of basically answered this most. Was just
the top two teams at the start decided the rules, and we went with them for the rest of the BFC.
I'm gonna skip over J-Man's question because it's kind of troll, and see if there's another one.
Damn, hot soup.
Thoughts on PS2 damage rockets on PC? This is from Dave.
I think we should do. Oh, I don't know. I kind of enjoy not fighting rockets. I feel like on CTF Mustafar, like you're not getting up that ramp versus those PS2 rockets. Like it's gonna be rough, bro.
And with the ability to have, let's say 3 rockets or something.
Maybe for conquest only, it'd be fine. Conquest only, it'd be okay.
Okay.
For CTF, don't do that because it's gonna get really campy.
Yeah, for sure. Imagine having 4 rockets.
Legit does say he loves Kratos and LAK so much.
Oh, it's nice. That's our boy. That's our god. Legit.
The best player in the game, legit.
All right, so we'll return to the story. We got about 5 minutes left till match start. Tell us a funny story about one of the PS2 players that nobody knows about. This is from Zemo.
I guess we could.
About Ruthless Titan.
Well, Ruthless Titan, he played the championship match on PS2. He wasn't supposed to, but his team just crumbled in playoffs. Like, so BSC playoffs are like legendary for like being scuffed like every time, basically. So, so like you'll have your 8th man in for the finals sometimes, and Titan was the man who had to step up and take on Diablo and Bot, and he just wasn't prepared for it. But he did play in a finals match.
No,
I don't honestly have. I don't really have. There's not too many like epic, funny stories on PS2.
Not that you can say on stream.
I mean, for me back then, it was just trying to find clans that didn't have like allowed no mics because I couldn't mic back then. So, like following around. That's why I was in LOE originally because they're like, you don't have to have a mic. You can just put on our tag.
Well, it was frustrating at the time. It was kind of troll that Pimp at one point when he first started out, he was quadra-clanning.
Jesus Christ!
And
he might have been pentaclanning, dude.
Yeah, I think he might have been more than pentaclanning. But yeah, his main one was Pimp and LSJ, and then he had his it was his cousin or brother. What was Isaac?
Isaac, yeah, cousin or brother, yeah.
Yeah, it was like his brother or cousin. I think it was his brother. Was in Trot, and then he had his cousin in LDS.
Then there's Arc too, yeah.
Yeah, and those were the main ones. And then he was like secretly clanning that wasn't related to him, and like other clans. And he played so many matches because he was in all these clans, and he attributes that's how he got so good so quick. Was that he always had a match to play at all times, and
it's kind of like Van.
Yeah, there was a big controversy of like, is that his brother? Is that really him? And we could never prove it. At one point, I got into a Skype video call with him, and it was him, and he had real life friend sitting there pretending to be ISOC. And he like, I guess giving him notes so he could answer certain questions.
Oh my
about
god!
About the history of ISOC. And I walked away and I was like, all right, ISOC is his brother, but
they play the exact same.
That's kind of a funny story because Seb and Shawnee were almost, or not Shawnee, Stud Muffin. Well, yes, Shawnee, but
Okay.
he went by Shawnee back in the day. His name is Stud Muffin now. They were in different clans, and everyone thought that they were the same person for the longest time. That he just made up. He just made up that he had a brother because they could be in more clans. Because like a lot of those clans were just you had to be in one. And one time we told them to both get on mic and like speak at the same time. And even when they did that, we didn't believe them because their voices sound so similar. We were just like, oh, you're just like saying it louder, and then we didn't believe them, and it was kind of funny.
Stud definitely still sounds pretty similar. He's deeper now, I think, than Sev, but yeah, they both sound pretty identical.
Yeah, when I first talked to them both, I was like, these guys sound pretty similar. I got the nuances of their voices. At first, I was like, who just said that? Was that Sev or Stud? Like, who's talking?
Yeah, when Stud first came back, I was having trouble differentiating him between Sev, but now it's pretty easy.
Yeah, it's easy to
Scout says Kratos double clanned as admin. Is this true?
Probably at one point, yeah.
Damn.
It's like FOD, right? Or
I don't even know, dude. But we did a bunch of troll stuff, yeah.
Says that we carried FOD to near playoff contention and had to stop.
Yeah. I think it was me, Scout, Matt 4, and WoW and FOD. And but yeah, we started. They were like 0-11 before we joined, and we got them to like 8-12 or something like that.
Jesus. Scout asked, did they talk about the weird thing PS2 had with server armies?
Oh my god, server.
Oh, okay. So there's a server army on season 5 called DD, and their whole team was like
server army.
So it's the same. Okay, let the story develop. So they joined the BFC for season 5. And they have players in like multiple rosters. Like some people are in DD and some other team at the same time. You know, like. And then we're like, okay, you guys can't be in multiple teams. You guys, they're like, don't call us a clan, don't call us a team. We're a server army. You can't tell us not to let our players be in 2 at the same time. And so eventually we're like, okay, you guys are a clan. And they just rage quit at one point, I think, because we called them a clan.
Didn't they win one season? They had one season one,
right?
That
was the season they won, yeah. Eventually, I think they rage quit for like a day and came back, but their roster were just like.
They had the fear lineup, essentially, and then LSJ got scuffed out of that one because we had to 3v4 our playoff match and we lost. Although we did win a map. That was against Shoddy, right?
Yeah.
It sounds kind of like Hidden Arrows.
DD made it.
Interesting. Well, I think we can pretty much wrap this up. We've gone about an hour and a half. The Battlefront or the BFH match should be starting. It's the last 2 group stage matches are today. They're gonna decide the seeding in Group 1. Group 2 seeding is done. So.
Yeah. Can we talk about like Group 2 real quick though?
Sure.
Or Group B?
Sure, if you want to.
Sure.
So NA took number 1 in the group.
Indeed.
I don't know
NA dominance.
Did anyone predict that going in, you think?
Not me.
No, I mean, I didn't.
Dude, Caamen and Doves, you can speak to it. Group B was a bloodbath all the way through. It was like people were tearing each other apart constantly.
Yeah, it was. I definitely didn't have I didn't have expectations because the last 2 draft tournaments have gone terrible for me. So I didn't have expectations. This first time being on a team that I feel like we all kind of fill and do our jobs as opposed to trying to fill like 2 different jobs at once.
Yeah, I think you guys have really good chemistry, and you guys all believe in each other, which helps a lot for you guys.
But yeah, I definitely didn't expect first seed. That was not when DFR beat us. I thought we were kind of the nail in the coffin, but then we beat PWA pretty handily. So Bots was a good experience, yeah. Bots was probably the only good experience aside from this one I've had in a draft tournament.
Nice. Are you guys looking forward to your playoffs?
Yes, sir.
We gotta wait an extra week, so hopefully we don't get too cold. We'll probably have to scrim or something. But
Nice.
how was KBTC?
Oh, we had some ups, we had some downs. It was a brutality for us, bro. But we came out with second by a 3% map win rate, so we're celebrating right now.
Yeah, after your first match, I was not expecting you guys to get second place.
We just fought for our lives, yeah. But yeah, our team's pretty happy right now, but we know it's going to be a tough road ahead.
Yeah, there's so many teams that are really scared in this tournament.
Don't you guys have a week 1 bye too, right?
Yeah.
So
So you want to predict the matches for today, and then we can just close it off after?
Sure, we can do that, yeah. So first one's IDC versus GB. So I Don't Care versus Get Bothened.
Do we know what the lineups are?
IDC has Relation, Lenny, Stefano, and Zemo, and then I think Get Bothened might have Pro Slayer. I don't remember.
So IDC doesn't have Blondo, and Get Bothened doesn't have somebody.
I know ISO's playing today. I know that Slender's playing today, but I think they have Pro Slayer instead of Avaran.
If they don't have Avaran, I don't see them winning, actually. And I think USA might come out with first in that group with a dub later on, yeah.
Dude, if both at ATs got first place, that'd be so funny, actually.
I think it'll be really interesting because I think Wido could potentially upset them. I think Ace is not playing today.
Yeah.
I could be wrong on that, but
I just think Stud Muffin on NA versus Wido is going to be tough for USA as well as R-Dubs.
Stud's got 8 ping to NYC right now, so
a legendary ping.
So my picks would actually be IDC then, and then USA for the second one.
USA. Is there any map predictions?
Oh, that's too complicated.
What? You just have to say a number. 2-2, 3-1.
I'm going for GB and USA though.
Ooh.
Okay.
LAK,
I have faith in Slender.
I think USA wins in 4-0.
I'm sure there was no bias in that one.
Oh wait, USA has LAK. Maybe they'll lose. I don't know. I forgot about that. It's kind of tough to say.
I still haven't announced the stream going live. What is going on?
I think they're waiting on it.
Okay, we can close it down then, yeah.
I'm just trying to wait till they go live so I can just hit /host, but
okay. I guess tell them.
Let's talk about specs. Boston. How do you feel about Boston? I know you had a very famous clip recently, LAK.
Oh yes, when Pro Slayer went off.
Actually, that's a question. What is the most fun class for you guys to play that you didn't play on PS2?
Darky, the class is broken. Nah, Darkies, you get to be so fast. You get to be everywhere.
I don't mean OP. I mean fun. Just fun.
That's Darky's fun, dude.
Right?
It's fun to be OP.
Do you like Jet Trooper at all?
I like Magnus probably. Outside of Darky, I love Magda at the moment.
It's part of predictions, Pascal. You'll get over it.
Out of the specials, Darky's obviously fun. Like, it's just fun. You fly in, you can get like a double kill real quick, and you're just like, I'm so good at this game. But I actually kind of like I like Wookiee a little bit because that's something that we kind of flirted with a little bit on PS2, but I would never get to play. So it's kind of fun to play now here, and just I feel kind of like a rocket. I'm so slow, and it's fun to get to. And so tanky, it's fun to be able to like be that guy every now and then and get a mortar shot, air frag, or something like that.
Yeah, I think you already have a couple in your repertoire, right?
Yeah, I have a few.
Nice.
Mostly whiffs, but we got a few out there.
I think Jet Trooper and Wookiee for me, if you're having like a pop off life on those, they're just so much fun.
Yeah, I can see Jet Trooper being very fun when you're like hitting your shots every time. Yeah.
No, never mind. The most fun is Clone Commander. I love bringing that thing out. I'm like a little kid with that Gatling. I love giving the reduction to the teammates, and I have a blast with that.
It's fun to kill snipers with it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. Or like you just like randomly get some massive damage on an NG, and you know they're tilted. That it's a lot of fun actually. I like Clone Command. I don't get to bring it out very often. It's a little silly to do it, but I have a blast playing it.
All right, they have gone live, so we're gonna kind of close it off here.
All right.
I'd like to thank Kratos and LAK for coming on and talking. I really appreciate it. It's kind of short notice, but
so when we raid them, can everyone spam Slender Omega Law in the BFH chat?
But yeah, we are gonna host the BFH channel. I want to close off by saying, guys, the subs, everything from that goes to servers. I'm not going to disclose the actual amount we pulled in, but we have enough for like a good chunk of time from the amount of money we're getting from subs right now. So if you want to help out with servers and paying for it, just using a Twitch Prime or a $5 a month sub, you would be helping a ton with servers. So
yes, thank you to everyone who's subbed.
Yeah, I really appreciate it, guys. But we're going to head off there. We're going to host BFH as Kratos' ass, spam Slender Omega Low.
Nice.
I love it.
Wait, what?
Oh no, he's messing up.
We're doing a raid.
Oh no.
There you go.
It's supposed to be simple.
All right.
Don't leave the raid.
All right, gonna end stream.